Under administration, you can see code deployment. You can see different versions here. Code versions, any code version can be. Please note down after login to the after login to the sandbox. After login to the sandbox, administration, code deployment, code deployment. In the code deployment, you can create your own code version. I'm just creating a new code version, everybody. I'm creating a new code version. Maybe something like August 25. Apply. This is the new code version. After creating a code version, you need to activate. Please observe, I'm activating the code version. Click yes. Now you can use this code version, August 23rd. Go for dw.json. Inside a dw.json, I'm using the code version whichever I have created. Now, everybody, in the last session, we developed one controller and one template. Let us see what is that controller and a template. I think controller is test. Controller URL is test1. It should be called with a test-test1. Test-test1. It is targeting to the test view. It is targeting to the test view. Let's see what is there in the test view. Inside a default hello test view. It's a hello world. Go to the uploading package. There was a small mistake, guys. In the last session, without a sandbox, we created one controller and one template. While creating a template, I just mentioned test view. I was not providing extension. So there was no extension, that is why it was giving an error. .isml. So please observe whatever we have seen. I just go through. This manager.js, let me rename. we developed as a test.js. This was like a test one. Now let us see. Default slash test to hyphen test one. You can see the same output. In the last session, we developed test.js. In the last session, we developed test.js. Come on, guys. This one. Inserted test one. So this is targeting to test view. For the test view, you can just provide some changes. By accessing the same. Yes. Let me check even code version. For the code deployment, let us use August 23rd. Activate. This time August 23rd. Same I will be mentioning in the dw.json. Let's modify the view. Default slash test to hyphen test. Let's go for re-uploading one more time. We changed the code version. Okay, let's see. Now, let me show completely all the things once again. I'm closing all the files. Please follow me, everybody. First and foremost one, in the sandbox, under administration, code deployment, under administration, code deployment. You can choose any of the existing code version. You can choose any of the existing code version. Otherwise, you can create a new code version. We have seen already creating a new code version. Let me show one more time. Click on add. I'll choose August 23rd, maybe V2. Apply. This code version should be specified in the VS Code under dw.json. Under dw.json, try providing same code version. This is the first step. Now, try developing one simple controller. Guys, I'm showing right from the beginning. Under App Storefront Controllers, Cartridge Controllers, right click on Controllers, go to New File, right click on Controllers, go to the New File. You can give any file name. I'm choosing a file name as something like a person. .js. Always try providing first character in uppercase. Person.js. So here, some statements required. We may not be able to develop all these statements in the beginning itself, like right from the beginning. I'm just copying from the previous controller. Just copy from the previous controller. Anyhow, these two lines are very important. You should not commit a mistake. It is always advisable to copy from any of the existing controllers. Now, inside a person.js, let me go for something like create. The task name is I'm using create JavaScript function, something like a person create, same I will be choosing here, person create. Let us choose a separate directory person, go for create as a template. Very simple, everybody please access. Now, go to the second folder, person with the create. So we have seen App Storefront controllers. Let's move to the App Storefront core. Inside that, again cartridge. Inside a cartridge, templates default. Inside a cartridge, core cartridge, template default. Right click on default, go to the new folder. Right click on default, go to the new folder. That folder name should be person. We choose the person as a folder name inside the default. Now inside a person, develop one template with a file. Right click on person, go to the new file. Choose the file name as a person.isml. Last time we committed a mistake like this. We just copied folder name and file name. While creating a file name, we forgotten .isml. Let me go for person created successfully. Some message. That's all. Let us see whether it is working properly or not. So what we had to use person hyphen create, person hyphen create. Let me go for storefront with a default. First one is a person hyphen create. You can see person created successfully. A simple research. One simple controller code and a view code. In the same controller code, let me go for guys. I'm going for one more task, something like a view. Task in itself view. Let me go for person view. Try developing this person view method. Let us make this method name as a person view. Let me go for view. From the JavaScript function, we can supply an object to the view. That object should be composed in the parentheses of the get view. This is the object. Let me supply guys. First name, a simple object we are supplying to the get view method. You can treat this as a JavaScript object. You can consider this as a JavaScript object. It is a perfect JavaScript object. Get view method. One object we are supplying. That object having a name as a first name. This JavaScript object, this JavaScript object, it is rendering into the view. Try developing a view first. For the person, inside a person, we already developed create.isml. Let me go for new file, view.isml. Inside this, how to read the JavaScript object, whatever is supplied, reception, whichever JavaScript object is supplied. In the JavaScript object, first name is there. Try printing the first name through a predefined predict. A predefined predict. So let me supply like a name code. Let us give a call to view. You can see name colon Ramu. So we don't require to upload the code automatically. Code will be getting uploaded. Please observe here, everybody. Inside a controller, While rendering a request to the view, we supplied one JavaScript object. The JavaScript object containing only first name. Let's go for another phrase. Last name, sorry, it is not a JSON object, it is a JavaScript object. You have to go for key colon value. Let's go for visual. Let's go for age colon 22, address colon here. A full-fledged JavaScript object. Very simple, guys. This is the task name view. For that, we are assigning JavaScript function person view. The person view, while rendering a request to view, we are supplying a result of the processing. Anything, the result, we are supplying one JavaScript object. This JavaScript object we can read in the view by using predict. By using predict, we can read in the view. Take this view, go inside the view, try reading last name, age and address. So we already read first name. Let me go for the same way reading other fields. Let me go for last name, age, address. This is the address. This is the age. This is the last name. Only these many fields we are supplying. Check it out in the person. First name, last name, age and address. Go to the view.isml. First name, last name, age and address. Please check it out person.js. Please note down first person.js properly. So please observe. This is the JavaScript object. This JavaScript object we are rendering to the view. This JavaScript object we are rendering to the view. Let's see what is there in the view. Inside the view, now, by using predict, we are able to read JavaScript object whichever rendering into the view. This is the syntax. Very easiest way. Very easiest way. By using predict. Get view method. I'm just modifying little this get view method. Let's go for person here, guys. You know very well about JavaScript. I'm defining one JavaScript object supplying the same. The controller is full of JavaScript code only. The controller is full of JavaScript code. If you know JavaScript, then only you can develop the controller. This complete syntax is a part of is a type of the JavaScript code. I'm supplying one object to the get view while rendering. That object is a JavaScript object. So it is going to the view. Inside a view, you can read first name, last name, age and address to predict. Please check it out and assign one variable email IDs. Assume this is an array. It's a completely JavaScript syntax. In the JavaScript, we are creating an array like this. Array development in the JavaScript we know very well. I'll supply this one inside a person. Let us go for email IDs colon just to go for common. Now inside a person object, inside a person object, there is one array also there. Person object containing an array. We just modified person object. It is also containing email IDs. Let us print email IDs in the view.xml. Let us go for print dot email IDs. Predict dot email IDs. Refresh the browser. Specify email IDs inside the object itself. Now come to the view. Try printing email IDs. We processed one array inside a person.js. Email IDs is an array. This email IDs we are trying to read through predict.email IDs inside a view. Please remember, everybody, one object itself we can able to set. One object itself we can able to set. This is the JavaScript object. Inside this object, single value fields are there. Array type fields also there. Single value fields and array fields both are there. So inside that object we are reading in the view. Now this is an array. This array can be iterated by using loop. This array we can able to iterate by using loop. Please observe everybody. Each loop is a each loop. You can use array reference here. Predict.email IDs. Array reference. Inside that array, whatever elements are there, those we are referring through where? Those we are referring through where? No. Where? You can try printing straight away that where. This is simple syntax which is very familiar in the JSP. The people who knows JSP they can understand very easily, but it is not a difficult. We know very well about the loop. This is the container for the loop, guys. It's an array. Container for the loop. Inside that loop, whatever elements are there, those elements can be referred through where? Those elements can be referred through where? In the first iteration, first element in the array, 0th index element in the array. In the second iteration, 1 index. In the third iteration, 2 index. In the fourth iteration, 3 index. Likewise, just to refresh, you can see. You can use loop. You can use loop. Is loop. Items. It's a container. You can supply either array or collection object. Either array or collection object. So here email IDs is a array. Supply that array. Choose any value. Is absent. So for this var, you can go for any identifier. This is your own identifier. Same identifier should be specified here. Var is equal to. Still lot of attributes are there in the is loop. We will be keep using those attributes in the next classes. Initially try understanding a very simple This is it. Like our general programming languages, here also if block is there. You can use the if block. What is the condition? Please observe. I'll go for the condition like greater than equal to 0. Now try print the age. Generally, in any programming language, you can see if else blocks. Same way here also if else blocks are there. Very similarly, very similar to another programming languages. Here also you can find if else blocks. You can find if block, else block, and if else. Please observe. Else block also there, if else also there, else if also there. You will be knowing those things one by one later. I'm just introducing one simple condition statement if block and one simple loop. One simple condition statement and one simple loop. Please observe a very simple, a very simple. In the person.js, we defined a view, so that is assigning to person view inside that one simple JavaScript object. Same JavaScript object is sending to view while rendering. This is the object you have to supply while rendering to this. This is the object. Inside this object, I showed single value fields and also multiple value fields. Come on. How we can make use of this data inside a view? How we can make use of this data inside a view? Go to the view, use predicted dot, first name, last name, age and address. First name is a single value, last name also single value, age also single value, address also single value. If you want to read the container like array or collection object, we can use is loop. Supply the container under items, specify how you can refer that items one by one in different iterations. You can use this. So very simple guys, how we can render results into the view, how we can render the results into the template, how we can send results into the template. Please observe sending the results from the template. Sending the results from the template. We can send the results from the template through getView method. Earlier we were using getView no argument method. Now you can supply one JavaScript object. This object is going into the view. Inside a view, how to read this object? Inside this view, to read the objects, use predict. Come on. By using predict, first name, last name, age, email IDs. If you want to iterate that email IDs through a loop, if you want to iterate email IDs through loop, for easily, once you know one programming language, then other programming languages very easily you can understand. Then this one is IF. It's like a if block. We will see more about if block, else block, else if block. Just I am choosing if block with a condition. If block with a condition. That condition, simple condition, age should be greater than or equal to 0. Yes, age is less than or equal to 0. Absolutely possible. While running this one, we are getting this one. We have seen three things here, guys, everyone. First one, how we can supply results from the controller to the template. How we can supply results from the controller to the template. Come on, guys. You know very well about the controller development and template development. This is the controller. Inside a controller, you have a result. Assume this object you read from the database. This object you have to send to the client to the view, that is to the template. Supply that object as an argument to get view method. You can specify one template. Inside the template, how we can read. By using predict, we can able to read object members, whichever setting by controller. Controller not only forwarding to render, not only forwarding to template, it is also supplying one JavaScript object. How to read the data using predict. This is one simple point we have seen. Getting a results from the controller to the template. How we can supply from a controller to the template through JavaScript object. Through JavaScript object. Second simple point we have seen is loop usage. In the loop also several attributes are there. You will be knowing all these attributes later. I am using very basic way of loop. The loop usage very simple. Items and that. Only two things you have to remember. Items is equal to container. It can be an array or it can be collection object. Then how we can iterate those elements one by one, one by one? Those elements can be iterated by using one by one through XYZ. Here, XYZ assigned to var. XYZ assigned to var. This option. It's very simple. Now through var we can able to read. This is the second point we have seen. Simple usage of the var. Simple usage of the var. Then the third one, guys, everyone. The third one is if block usage condition with a boolean. We are supplying the age value for the boolean condition. Even here also a lot of attributes are there. We will see those attributes in the next classes. Just to practice these 3 points, we will continue in the next session.